So, when I went to First Christian Church over the summer and we did the coronavirus, and then we did the COVID-19, well, there's some truth to that. There's some curses out there. So, in an effort to break all those curses and to fix the education system and to create real equality for education and training and success for everybody, eats, good eats, cool treats. You remember Dairy Queen? Good eats, cool treats. Ice cream, milk's good for the body, calcium and stuff. For those genetic defects and stuff. People eat healthier and whatnot. Well, we named Chris Kirk. We named John Kirk because Chris Johns had a problem. And then we had Joseph Kirk for Joseph Technicolor Dreamcoat. He could decipher all these movies and stories and help everybody out. So, the FC, Federal Communications, Fix Christians, Fix Christians Church, the First Christian Church, the Fix Christians Church. Kai Ratliff had a little inside information, so he was supposed to be the tax person out there at the Space Center to make sure everybody's doing the right job. And when you found out Mr. Kirk couldn't remember some stuff, it must have been a blessing because you were robbing the entire system. So, now we know what First Christian Church was. So, when Mr. Kirk went to First Christian Church and everybody said, let's go fishing because Mr. Kirk said we're fixing a church. And he goes in there and the one little minister says, oh, these Christian people, those Hebrew people were real serious people. Well, he didn't know that he was talking about Joseph Kirk. Because the Technicolor Dreamcoat, he had a Bible story where Joseph lost everything and he's coming back to be rewarded with riches and stuff. Well, those riches is, it's better to be poor in money than poor in education. But to be poor in money wasn't to put them on the street and walk them up and down Brevard County's roads like an idiot. So we said, okay, fine, we'll walk up and down the road so we'll come back later and teach them a lesson. So, First Christian Church, Fix Christians Church. See? And then they had this big thing with the jungle adventure. Like they were gonna run Mr. Kirk up and down the road, leave him in the woods like a jungle man in a tent. And they go, what do you mean? And we said, well, Mr. Kirk was trying to help those churches put their churches back together and the space program. So when Kai Ratliff went to Auburn University in Alabama, let me tell you who helped Mr. Kirk out at that campground they tried to turn into a German concentration camp. History, not hate. It was supposed to be a ha-ha funny joke, not a hostel hotel crazy joke. The Navy band took a bunch of trailers to that trailer park, and Mr. Kirk called up the Boy Scouts of America for those churches that were scouting out those boys and going, what's the information? And we're going to have the whole deal. That deal was broken up in pieces all across America, so people couldn't do that. So Mr. Kirk called up the Boy Scouts and said, make sure it never happens again, the shit that they did to me. Nobody knew that until now. And as for the First Christian Church, you tell that minister to start preaching right. Because there was another minister in that church that remembered a deal that did a wink at Joseph Kirk. Because they knew what was going on too.